In this 3-hour course, you're going to learn everything you need to get started with SQL or SQL. First, I'm going to give you a 3-minute introduction to SQL. Then we're going to install the necessary tools and write our first SQL query. This course is ideal for anyone who wants to learn SQL from scratch, but also anyone with some basic knowledge who wants to fill in the missing gaps. By the end of this course, you'll be able to retrieve, insert, update, and delete data in databases. We'll talk about tables, relationships, different types of joins, subqueries, regular expressions, and much, much more. These are the essential concepts that every software developer or data scientist must know. This SQL course is packed with tons of exercises that help you both learn and remember the SQL syntax. Also, there is a table of content below this video, so you can quickly jump to specific tutorials. Now let's jump in and get started. Let's start the course with a quick overview of databases, what they are, and how we use them. A database is a collection of data stored in a format that can easily be accessed. In order to manage our databases, we use a software application called Database Management System, or DBMS. We connect to a DBMS and give it instructions for querying or modifying data. The DBMS will execute our instructions and send results back. Now, we have several database management systems out there, and these are classified into two categories: relational and non-relational, also called NoSQL. In relational databases, we store data in tables that are linked to each other using relationships. That's why we call these databases relational databases. Each table stores data about a specific type of object, like customer, product, order, and so on. SQL or SQL is the language that we use to work with these relational database management systems. It looks like this. We use SQL to query or modify our data. In this course, we're going to learn everything about this powerful language. Now, there are many different relational database management systems out there. Some of the most popular ones are MySQL, SQL Server by Microsoft, and Oracle. But of course, there are plenty more. Each database management system has a different flavor of SQL, but all these implementations are very similar and are based on the standard SQL specification. So most of the SQL code that you will learn in this course will work with any database management system. In this course, we'll be using MySQL, which is the most popular open source database in the world. All right, now back to this diagram. What about non-relational databases? In non-relational databases, we don't have tables or relationships. These databases are very different from relational databases, but that's a topic for an entirely different course. What you need to know is that non-relational database management systems don't understand SQL. They have their own query language. So we use SQL to work with relational database management systems. Now, before we jump in and install MySQL, let me clarify something quickly. As you talk to different people, you will hear two different pronunciations of SQL: SQL or SQL. What is the correct way? Well, it depends on who you ask. And of course, everybody thinks their way of pronouncing this word is the right way. But here's a little history about this language. SQL was originally developed at IBM in the 70s, and back then it was initially called SQL, short for Structured English Query Language. But they changed the acronym to SQL because SQL was the trademark of an airplane company. So to this date, there's been an argument about what is the right way to pronounce this language. Generally speaking, people in non-English speaking countries call it SQL. I'm used to calling it SQL because it's shorter and sweeter than SQL. But if you prefer to call it SQL, that's totally fine with me. I'm not going to get mad at you. So that's the history behind this language. But what about MySQL as a software product? Developers of this product prefer to call it MySQL rather than MySQL, but they don't mind if we call it MySQL. In this course, I'll be teaching you SQL with MySQL. Hey guys, Mosh here. I just wanted to let you know that you really don't have to memorize anything in this course because I've created a complete cheat sheet with summary notes for you. You can find it below this video in the description box. So I have done my best to create the best possible, most comprehensive SQL course for you, and I would really appreciate it if you support my hard work by liking and sharing this video. Thank you so much. Now, let's continue. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to install MySQL on your computer. Now here I'm using a Mac, so first I will show you how to install MySQL on a Mac computer, and then I will show you how to install it on Windows. So if you're a Windows user, feel free to skip this tutorial. Now, open up your browser and head over to mysql.com. Then go to the downloads page and scroll down to the bottom. Here you should see MySQL Community Edition. This is absolutely free, and we're going to use that throughout this course. So let's go ahead with that. Now on this page, click on MySQL Community Server. And then on this page, you should see available releases for Mac OS. So in this list, download the first item, which is a DMG archive. All right. Now on the next page, click on No Thanks, just start my download. All right, as you can see, we are getting a DMG file, which is basically a setup wizard. All right, now the DMG is downloaded, so let's open it and then double click on this package. This will launch an installation wizard, which is pretty easy to use. So simply click on continue and again, agree with the license agreement and install MySQL. It's going to ask for your password. This is the password that you use to log into your computer. So let's put that here. All right. Now here we need to set a password for the root or the admin user. So click next, and in this box, type a complex password. All right, now let's finish the installation. And enter your computer's password one more time. And we're done. That was super easy and sweet. All right, we installed MySQL Community Server. Now we need a graphical tool to connect to this server and manage our databases. So back to the downloads page. One more time, scroll to the bottom and go to MySQL Community Edition. And on this page, somewhere you should see MySQL Workbench. This is a graphical tool that we use to connect to our database server. So let's go ahead and download this as well. Now, once again on this page, we need to download a DMG archive. So download. And again, we have to say, no, we don't want to log in or sign up. So let's just go ahead and download the DMG. And then open it. All right, you're going to see something like this. So simply drag this MySQL Workbench and drop it onto the applications folder. So let's go ahead with that. Now it's going to copy this into the applications folder. Beautiful. So we're done with the installation. That was super easy. Now press Command and space and search for MySQL Workbench. There you go. Let's open it.